Well, hello there. I'm Sin. We are in the Book Nook, and today we're going to talk about my past, present, and future of books. What I finished, what I'm in the middle of, and what we're going to get into. All right, so recently I finished it was a cozy, witchy fantasy centered around grief called House of Frank by Kay Sinclair. And even though the topic around it is grief, you may wonder how it could be cozy. I think just the magical aspects of it, the fact that there is a bit of romance in it, and just how the characters in the story have all lost someone and they connect to each other through their grief as they slowly become comfortable with each other enough to share their story and what had happened to them. And I really enjoyed it. I definitely cried at several different parts. If you don't like to read about stuff that deals with death and grief, I would not recommend it. But if you do like cozy, witchy books and are okay with topics centering around death and what happens after, then House of Frank by Kay Sinclair might just be for you. I really loved it and thought it was a lovely little book. Currently, I am in the middle of the book, Junie, and that is by Aaron Crosby Eckstein. And this follows the character Junie, and it takes place in the 1860s. She's a slave that works on a plantation of these people, the McQueens, and she works in the house as a maid. And she is basically the maid of Violet, the daughter of the McQueens. They grew up together and they are very close. The master of the house, he is big drunk and he's never home. The wife is a miserable, bitter old woman, but the good thing is that they don't beat their slaves. It still sucks. Everything still sucks. Junie's there, she's grown up there, and she's friends with Violet. She is 17. I think they're both around the age of 17. Yeah, so around the age where they might be looking for someone to marry Violet off to. But the master of the house, he drinks and gambles and is basically like gambling away their fortune way quicker than they can bring in money from running their cotton plantation and whatnot. And so one day he comes back and he's like, yeah, this young man I met, Mr. Taylor, and his sister are going to come stay with us. They're going to stay for a week or whatever, da 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 da. And the mother's eyes kind of go light up because they're like, oh, good, we marry her off to some rich guy, and then all our problems are solved. All our financial problems are solved because you're gambling and drinking it all away. She doesn't say that out loud, but they do fight about it from time to time. But most of the time, he's never home, and I think she's happier for that. Anyways, Violet doesn't want to be married off. She tells Junie all these things, and she had actually taught Junie how to read and to write. And so Violet has a real love for books and has shared that with Junie. And then when the Taylors do come, it does seem like she's interested in Mr. Taylor because he's very handsome. And then the sister seems a little bit snobbity too, but then her and Violet start to really hit it off and get along. And then Junie starts seeing her dead sister's ghost. Her sister had passed away 8 months prior, and she's been really torn up about that. And so Junie will just go off into the woods and sit by the river, sit by the tree, and she gets sad a lot. Things like memories and stuff will spark that she remembers of her sister. One night, she goes to where her sister's buried, and they had a clay jar that they put on the graves and stuff with items of her sister's. And she took a necklace out of the jar that was on her grave. And after she takes this necklace, she ends up seeing her sister who's floating over the river. Well, she freaks the F out and then runs away. But eventually she comes back and ends up talking to her sister's ghost. And her sister's ghost is like, I have 3 tasks I need you to complete before I can move on from this world. Otherwise, I will probably disappear. And we don't really know what that means. Does she just bound somewhere else forever? I don't know. Junie now has to figure out if she wants to do this. But the thing is, too, if Violet ends up marrying this Mr. Taylor, Junie will go with her because she's her personal maid. And then she's going to be taken away from her family, from doing the stuff that her sister wants her to do and whatnot. But she also meets this other boy that works for the Taylors, Caleb, and they kind of hit it off. And then as she's trying to do her tasks for her sister wants her to find some things and whatnot. So Caleb, he's handsome, tall, beautiful eyes. Junie likes him, but denies it in the beginning very harshly. So he runs interference and does something so Junie can get into the house and go look in rooms for what she's searching for. That's an item her sister sent her to look for. And he goes and he gets this parasol for the sister of Mr. Taylor, and he brings it back and there's a hole in it. And then Mr. Taylor is an evil a-hole and proceeds to beat him. And so Junie sees this and she's like, what the F? And it still seems like even after all this happens, Violet still seems to like him. And she's like, that doesn't like end this for you. You're fine with him doing that? Because like for her and Violet had always been friends, so she didn't think all white people were horrible. Well, girl, Violet's gonna disappoint you too. This book is gritty and emotional and beautifully written and hopeful and weird with all like the ghost elements from Junie seeing her sister, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Yeah, I had heard a lot of good stuff about this book, so I wanted to check it out. It's also a Good Morning America book club read. I don't know if that means anything. That doesn't mean anything to me. I just saw a lot of people talking about it on social media, so I picked it up. And so far, it's pretty fantastic. All right, so what we're gonna get into. Many moons ago, I read the book Wicked, and then I went and saw the musical, which is amazing. Years ago, like I still haven't seen the movie. I need to see the movie, right? I don't even know what year it was when I saw that musical. It was a long time ago. So I saw that they had the book Elfie, which is about Elphaba when she was a kid. So I, as a Wicked fan, needed to pick this up and read it. So let's tell you a little bit about it and what it is about. Elphaba, the so-called Wicked Witch of the West, is seared into our collective memories as a feisty and uncompromising character. So, it should come as little surprise that from her earliest days, young Elfie is an original. A firstborn child, Elfie stumbles into awareness of herself in the humid swamplands of Quedling country, where her father is a renegade missionary. Shaped and molded by his fanaticism and by the whims of her high-strung society mother, Milena, Elfie watches with unflinching eyes while largely keeping her own counsel. She suffers ordinary childhood jealousies over the births of her sister, saintly Nessa Rose, and her brother, junior felon, Shell. Furthermore, she twitches with curiosity over her first apprehension of magic. But how is any young child to distinguish the unexplained from the uncanny? Haunted by a monkey and taunted by dwarf bears, Elfie witnesses dubious attitudes towards the animal population of Oz, who live in the shadows of human settlements. She thrashes through her first bruising attempts at friendship, sensing a possible respite from her tricky circumstances. A shop clerk, a mission soloist, at once laced into family life and yearning to escape it, she begins to glean the possible benefits of education, however haphazardly she can cobble it together. Elfie is destined to be a witch. She bears the markings from childhood, most evidently in her green skin, but more profoundly in her cunning and perhaps immoral behaviors. Or is she just misunderstood? This poignant sketch of young Elphaba adds depth and nuance to one of the most enduring characters in modern fiction. And I look forward to reading that. Elfie by Gregory Maguire. All right, next up, I like books that, I don't even know if this has to do with aliens, but it's called Life Hacks for a Little Alien by Alice Franklin. I don't know, the cover and the title kind of snagged my attention, and then I read the synopsis and I thought it sounded kind of cute. So, and then I also had someone, I think I posted either a picture or a short, and someone said they liked this book quite a bit, so that made me more excited to read it. A lot of times I just go on vibes when I go to the library, whether it's a cover I like or a title I like, I'll read a snippet of it, and yeah. So this one kind of called to me, I guess we will say. So let me tell you about it. So, before she thinks of herself as a little alien, our protagonist is a lonely little girl who doesn't understand the world the way other children seem to. When a late night TV special introduces her to the mysterious Voynich manuscript, an ancient tome written in an indecipherable language, little alien experiences something she hasn't before: hope. Could there be others like her who also feel like they're from another planet? Convinced the Voynich manuscript holds the answer she needs, little alien and her best and only friend Bobby decide they must find the strange book. Where that decision leads them will change everything. Narrated by an unexpected guide who has arrived to give little alien the advice she'll need to find her way, Life Hacks for a Little Alien is both a coming-of-age adventure and a love letter to language. Alice Franklin will have you swinging from stitches to tears on the uneven path to finding a life that fits, even when you yourself do not. And that sounds kind of sweet. So we'll see how this one goes. All right, after that, the next book I literally grabbed because of the cover. And that is Green Teeth by Holly O'Neill. What is this about? Who knows? It just had a really cool cover, so let's tell you about it. It's a tale of fae, folklore, and found family that is just as delightful and warm-hearted as the charismatic lake-dwelling monster who tells it. Beneath the still surface of a lake lurks a monster with needle-sharp teeth. Her name is Jenny Greenteeth, and she is hungry and ready to pounce. She has never spoken to a human before, but when a witch is thrown into her lake by an angry mob, something makes Jenny decide she's worth saving instead of eating. Soon, she learns that the witch's once peaceful village has suddenly turned against her, and that it has something to do with the malevolent new pastor and his wicked influence on the townsfolk. Though they have nothing in common, Jenny and her unlikely companion must band together on a quest to defeat an unforeseen evil that threatens the very soul of Britain. And yeah, I don't know, I thought that sounded kind of fun, and yeah, love the cover, so good. Now, out of all of those, honestly, I don't even know which one I'm most excited about. They all sound awesome. Okay, if I had to pick, I'd probably have to say Elfie just cause I loved Wicked. But Green Teeth seems witchy too. I don't know what order I'm gonna read them in. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so Green Teeth, I guess that's a faux horror, I would call that. And the other two, I don't know what the little alien book is it say on it? That might just be considered fiction. All right, and then the Alfie one's fantasy. Those should all be super fun. What have you guys been reading recently? Let me know. I'm always curious to find out what you guys are getting into, whether it is weird stuff, horror, fantasy, fiction, biographies, whatever. I am curious, and I like to read all the different genres. Although I do stick a lot in my same niches for the most part, I do dip a toe in other ones from time and time again. So, if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.